live, what you're watching, to anyone who's watching this in the future and not right now because I didn't post this link anywhere. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet. It's a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. You find them at gauntlet-rpg.com, where you'll find all the stuff they do that involves tabletop role-playing games, blogs, forums, a podcast network full of lots of many different podcasts, a monthly zine called Codex, where you get supplements to existing games and original games in itself. And the big thing that the Gauntlet's running for this month, which is Gauntlet Con. It's an online role-playing convention, hundreds of games, cool guests, running from the 24th to the 27th. Again, there'll be a link down below to check that out. But what you're watching is a game that was arranged through the Hangouts calendar. That's where most of the Gauntlet's online games are arranged. More about, 100+ game sessions a month. And this was one of them. This is a session of Sunset Kills, a micro PBTA RPG by Jesse Ross, who's also created some stuff that I've run on this channel before, like Trophy and whatnot. It's a tabletop role-playing game about a family or group of friends. I'm looking at the characters right now, and it's like, are they all related? Probably not. Found family is also very, the word is escaping me, but it's found family is a thing. It's a true thing. They're true things. But yeah, family or a group of friends who investigate supernatural mysteries and fight the monsters trying to take over their town. It's a little bit of horror, a little bit of drama, a little bit of campy comedy, shows like Charmed, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and all that fun. So before we get into the characters and the world itself, let's kind of introduce our players, because some I've played with before, some I've playing for the first time. So I'm gonna go by the order on the screen here, as in, let's go by the character keeper, which I don't want to go like, let's go clockwise through this screen because I don't know what everyone's seeing. So let's go by the order in the character keeper. So just names, pronouns, and if there's a cool thing you want to shout out on the internet, whether it's something you made or just some cool thing that you want people to know more about, totally valid. If you don't have anything to shout out, that's perfectly fine as well. So I'll start with the player from the left, Will.
Hi, my name's Will, and my pronouns are he and him, and I don't have anything cool to plug.
I will say that Will himself is quite cool, and I can say that from experience. Up next, Alan.
My name is Alan. I go by he, him. Coolest thing on the horizon is, in fact, GauntletCon. Running 4 sessions, playing in 3 more.
That's a lot of gaming to happen in one weekend. Good luck. I'll say good luck. You played in GauntletCon before. I know that. Up next, Libby.
Hi, I'm Libby. My pronouns are she and her. I don't have anything to share. Thanks.
Cool. That's perfectly fine as well. Last but not the least, David.
Hi, I'm David. I use he, him pronouns. Actually, yes. One thing I will plug is Leandro mentioned Trophy already, which is also by Jesse Ross. But there's just been a writing contest for incursions for that, which are kind of like modules for it, essentially. There were about 50 entries, I want to say. And currently, Jason Cordova is going through and doing like a very brief Twitter review of each one on his Twitter, and that's really interesting. Just reading a little bit about them, because I've not had a chance to read through all the entries yet, so that's really cool.
Cool. I should have introduced myself. My name's Leandro. It says so. Where's my finger? Yeah, right there. Yeah, Leandro. That's my name. I use he, him pronouns. I'm running this game. I don't have anything cool to shout out, so I'll plug a random game from GauntletCon that still has seats open. There is a session of Ross Rifles, which is a currently in Kickstarter tabletop RPG game set in the Canadian trenches of the First World War, run by its creator, Daniel Kwan. It's on Saturday. I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. British Standard Time, or I guess where I am, Irish Standard Time. screw the Brits. Sorry to all the other Brits on this call. But yeah, check that out. I think there's one more seat there. Ross Rifles looks really cool, and Daniel Kwan's a really cool person. He's the co-host of Asians Represent. It's a podcast about. Okay, I'm gonna stop plugging things. Check it out. Asians Represent's really cool. That game's really cool. Looks really cool. Check out Dante the Chosen. Anyway, before we jump into Sunset Kills itself, just one more last thing we need to do. We'll talk about safety tools. Basically, tools we use to make sure we're playing in a safe and comfortable environment. So first up, we have lines and veils. Lines are things that won't be crossed, just won't show up in the fiction at all. I've asked players to put in their lines. I usually don't like to shout them out on broadcast, but just remind folks that they're there. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on it. Like it happens off screen, or just fast forward over them, so to speak. And those are living documents. I think I mentioned this off broadcast, but I'll mention it again. If you think of something that like, I don't want to deal with this, just put them in the character keeper and put them in the chat, and just so people know. We're also using the X card for this game. Basically, if you do roll into a scene where you feel uncomfortable for any reason, and any reason is perfectly fine, name or detail or whatnot, you can say you want to X that either on the chat or on the screen. You will make the X symbol there, or on the roll for a party, there's a button there. I might ask some questions on what specifically is being X-carded, like what elements being redacted from the scene. But no one gets a question if it's played. No one, you don't need to explain why it needs to be X-carded. If it is, fine, we'll X-card it and we'll roll back the scene and try something else. And finally, we have an open door policy. If for whatever reason you need to step away from the table, because there's an emergency you need to take care of, or you're more tired than you thought and you need to step away, or as the running joke that I use every time, you need to go in for like 5 minutes, like you take care of something, or you drink more than half your water before we even start playing, which is always a poor decision. It's always done really well. I see some folks are drinking water just to I don't know, just to tempt fate, living on the razor's edge. That's y'all made your decisions. But yeah, at any point, if folks need to step away, we'll pause the game, and that could be at any point. We could be, I don't know, fighting a demon ghost bat, and and its claws are coming at you. Its mouth, your arm is in its mouth as you're trying to insert the anti-serum into its. I guess it's a robot demon ghost bat, the anti-virus thing into it, and at some point you need to okay, actually I really need to go. We'll pause the game anytime's fine. Although be sure to do that while I'm talking, so that because I'm mostly talking blather, as some of y'all are now painfully aware. Okay, so those are the safety tools. Back to Sunset Kills, which is what we're playing today. I'll just read a blurb of where this game takes place. So, Sunset Hills, Florida. Sleepy college town. Lucky enough to have its own indoor mall, zoo, and a minor league baseball team. Unfortunately, it's also unlucky enough to be situated over the weird, creepy nexus of supernatural energies called the Shadow Gate, portal used by demons to enter our world. Thankfully, Sunset Hills is home to a small band of heroes willing to battle the monstrous forces that would take over the world. Well, in this game, you play those heroes. So let's get a quick snapshot of. Well, let's get a quick overview of each hero that we get, and we'll go back from the order of the character keeper. I promised a cool thing, but then I forgot what that cool thing is, so I'll just try to remember it later. But for now, let's just introduce characters. So let's start. Let's go back to from the left, the character keeper. Will, tell us about our Monstrous.
So the Monstrous is stone, and he is a golem crafted long ago by a long dead forgotten master to protect the Shadow Gates. And he doesn't remember much of the past, but he's good at killing things, and that is pretty much what he does. And let's find out how he met his various companions, I suppose.
Yeah, how will we find that out? Well, we will play to find out. We'll figure that out.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just get like a quick overview. Yeah, this for those who don't know, anyone watching this game is like a one-shot game, so we're kind of like getting in and getting out. My main advice is to play these characters as if they're stolen vehicles and you're being chased by the cops right now. There's no room for surrender. We just come in and play. Up next, Alan, tell us about our occultist.
Our occultist is called Gideon. Gideon learned the occult from his grandfather. They've lived in this part of the world for generations. He claims Native American blood, but he has no paperwork of that. He's fascinated by the occult and the supernatural. Because if you're not fascinated by something, how can you kill it?
I don't know. I'm fascinated by. I can't even pretend that I have interesting things to be fascinated about. I look at my desk and I'm like, there's a Star Wars. This is a Star Wars cup. I'm fascinated by Star Wars, I guess. So I know how to kill it. Okay. Sorry. That's yeah. Instant to know more about the Gideon's history and whatnot, but we'll get into that. Up next, Libby, tell us about our Snoop.
Angie is a Snoop. She's, I guess, depending on like our family situation, either like in the college she's a journalist there, or for high school, or don't know her age yet. And she just likes getting into other people's business and learning by whatever means about other people.
Cool. Sounds she sounds cool. Learning about people. It's for a good cause. It's to help fight against evil. That's totally why she's doing this, right? Fight against evil. Yeah. Public service. That's what journalists do, right? Should know this. Yeah. That's what they do. And last but not least, rounding up our motley crew, David, tell us about our chosen.
Certainly. So Dante is a Cuban American guy who he's sort of like, well, I say day job. His evening job is he's like a bartender at a bar, which is obviously called the Inferno because why wouldn't it be? And yes, he is also a hunter of demons for reasons which we may find out.
Gotta love the good fallback of reasons. And we'll find out later. All right. So I think what we're gonna do is just kind of like just to set the tone of, I guess, this I'm very much imagining this much like Charmed or Buffy, like a TV show. So say like there is a what what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna describe like if this is a TV show, like the opening titles, the opening crawl, they like proper Buffy style opening sort of shots. So I guess it's like panning over this sleepy town. It's like probably what could have been a retirement town. Sunset falls, small pokey baseball team, and then we're going through the streets and whatnot, and I think as kind of like the titles, Sunset Kills just kind of like flashes to the air, and I think we hear the howl of a wolf, and we probably get like a montage of people being menaced, aforementioned demon bat ghosts that are robots, zombies crawling out of the sewers, people in the beaches getting just attacked by ghosts. A ghost ship comes by, all sorts of nasties, creatures from a lagoon that might be black or probably just because it's black and white, so it looks black. So it's a lot of all kind of those shots, and then in this opening montage, we'll each get a shot of like your characters doing a cool thing, doing their badass monster hunting thing. So just keep going the same order, I guess. So when we when the opening montage kind of like cuts to Stone, what's he doing? What's the cool thing that he's doing that's worth putting in the opening montage?
I think he just sort of steps out of the shadows, completely like stone faced, and two monsters run up to him and like stab him with swords, and he just smiles and then pulls the swords out of himself, and then he's holding both the swords, and then it cuts away basically.
Nice. And then we'll cut to Gideon. What's the cool thing he's doing?
I think we see Gideon sitting in the woods at night. There's a campfire going in front of him, and as he focuses on the sparks rising from the campfire, they take the form of his grandfather's face, and we hear him say, "Grandfather, I have another question."
Oh, you can see his offside. And then we'll cut from there. I don't know, the music's pounding at this point, it's like proper, like, what if John Carpenter composed pop music sort of music. And then we'll cut to Angie. What's she doing?
She pops out of a dumpster, like with like a banana peel on her head or something, and she's like holding like the clue that we needed to figure something out. With like a big triumphant grin on her face.
Nice. Oh, that's beautiful. I hope she survives. Oh no, she'll survive. No, we're not getting there. And yeah, so John Carpenter's playing, and then last we'll cut to our chosen, I guess. If we were to name a TV show after one of the characters, it's probably The Chosen. So what's Dante doing?
Yeah, so I think we see sort of Dante manhandling someone out the back door of the club, into sort of the alleyway, and then they kind of transform into a big, like, classic demon with like bat wings and horns and stuff. It sort of throws him back, into the wall of the alley, and then we kind of, the last thing is we sort of see before, like, I guess the credits finish is a sort of POV shot from the demon of sort of Dante, like, crumpled against the wall, and then we just see like him pull out a silver throwing knife, and it sort of comes towards the camera, so it like fades out.
Nice. Yeah, it stabs the demon, and then we kind of like pan up and again see the town of Sunset Falls. And yeah, Sunset Kills, created by Jesse Ross, who's the designer, by the way. Anyone watching this, also, if you want to check out this game, link down below. Should have mentioned that. Yeah, and then fades, and I think I think there's an inciting incident, but I want to get like a snapshot of what people are doing now in their, what's their day-to-day look like, before I kind of spring what's happening to them. So let's cut to like maybe, a quick snapshot of what each character is doing, kind of like on their day-to-day. Let's say it's like probably around nighttime-ish, the end of the day, so to speak. And yeah, now I'm curious, what does Stone do in his day-to-day?
I mean, what did Angel do in his day-to-day? Just stood around brooding and looking mysterious, right? And so he could show up and drop plot hints every now and again. I don't know what Stone would do in his free time. I don't feel like the Monstrous is a character that has a personal life beyond the demands of a plot. So
we've cut the camera to him. Is he just brooding over?
I think what he's doing is he's looking in the shadows from maybe like, some sort of vantage point over at something that's clearly disturbing him, and then it just cuts away, kind of thing.
All right, and then cut to Gideon. What's his day to day? At least, what's he doing at this night?
I think Gideon is probably leaving the local college where he teaches an additional program in homeopathic medicine. And we see him walking across the lawns in front of the college building, away from the lights.
Ooh. And then we cut to Angie. What's she doing?
I think like it probably zooms in on one of the lights in the college, and it's like the computer lab where she is still like grinding away at the like doing layouts for the newspaper.
And then finally to Dante. What's he doing?
Yeah, so I think he's just kind of polishing a few tables in the club, and he's just, kind of, I guess, turning on all turning on the lights, and doing all the general like just getting set up for an evening's business stuff.
Cool. So I think we cut from each character, and again we're kind of like, it's almost like, I think we cut to like a POV shot of like just this shaky like sort of vision of kind of like it looks like something kind of like lurching, and it's like it's looking at like these cobblestones like lurching around, and then like, oh no, it's not really a cobblestone, it's a polished floor. Actually, now I think about it, it's polished floor, it's lurching, coming around, and then it looks up, and you can see in the camera, you see like, yeah, you're in this kind of clean hallway with like doors all around there, and in the distance they see like this figure kind of like walk from like another corridor and then knock on the door. Angie, you hear a knock at the door. Who is the college friend who'd be most concerned that you're still working here?
A college friend, Jean.
That's fair. Any name's fine. You don't have to. We don't have to flesh them out too much. So yeah, Jean. Yeah, you hear the knock on the door, and without even waiting, they just kind of open the door and Jean kind of pokes her head in. It's like, what time is it actually? It's like probably like 9 p.m. or something like that. And then Jean's like, Angie, you said you'd be finished here an hour ago.
I just have to do a couple more touches, get everything lined up just right. I have had a late submission, and it's very important this get out.
I think Jean, they give a sigh. It's like, is it that important? I mean, if it's late, it can't be that important. Like, what is it? Like a bake sale report or something?
Corruption in the student council. Absolutely vital investigative report.
I think you. I don't know how you hear them roll. You feel that they're rolling their eyes and they're kind of just leaning at the door, and they're like, "All right, I'll bite. What kind of corruption?"
Somebody stacked the ballots for student historian. The person who makes the scrapbooks for each year. I have no idea why anybody would want to do that, but
yeah, I was gonna ask. First off, who would care enough to do that, and why would anyone care? Actually,
this is just the first in a series of journalism that must happen.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. You know what? I'll be back in half an hour. Okay, Angie? Half an hour. Whatever the hell you're doing, I'm gonna make you like just pause it. I'm gonna take you out, and we'll like maybe you have time for like a drink or two. But come on, this is a bit much now.
I 100% will totally be right there, and I grab like another Red Bull. I've got like 3 Red Bulls lined up. I'm just like, pounding it.
Yeah, so I think Jean kind of like sighs at that sight and closes the door, and we cut back again to that POV as the lurching thing, the lurching camera shot kind of like walks down the hallway past your door, and it's kind of like moving towards Jean. I want to cut to Dante. You're at the club/bar. It's a club, right? or is it a bar?
Given the sort of town it's in, probably a bit of both.
For some reason, I'm imagining this is like it's a weeknight, and the only people are there are like some college students, and maybe there's a pool table being used.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and I think I'm trying to wonder, as the chosen, I should ask this, Dante. What made you the chosen, actually? Is it like, and why specifically demons, do you think?
That's a good question. I think yeah, I think maybe there's some sort of mystery about. I think maybe I was adopted by my family, and there's possibly some like strange demon stuff going on in my heritage.
Cool. So I think so it's just an affinity. Again, demon heritage.
Yeah, I think so.
So you would absolutely feel it if like demons are in the vicinity.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Okay, so I think it's been probably a long night. It looks like the beginnings of a long night. You've just thrown out some person, and I think someone walks into the bar, and they're all completely unfamiliar. Sunset Falls is a small town, so you probably have a good knowledge of everyone. But yeah, this guy comes in, complete newcomer. I think he looks like Christian Bale from American Psycho, that specific Christian Bale, and he takes a seat directly in front of you and flashes you like a $100 smile, and says like, "What are you serving here, bartender?"
Well, this time on a Wednesday evening, usually the same three kids from college with fake ID, but you look like you might appreciate something a little better.
I think he smiles and pulls out a bill roll just to be like, "Hell yeah," and says, and basically just kind of like indicates that, yeah, serve him your best.
Cool. Yeah, and I will mix up some form of rum-based cocktail, and present it to him.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, Mr. Bartender, sir, this town, Sunset Falls, it's got a bit of a reputation, right?
Well, if you mean that that Girls Gone Wild video, then yeah, we but things haven't been so bad since they closed down the old motel.
I think his smile is like that kind of waxen sort of smile that it's like just terribly in place, and I think he chuckles at that and says, well, I've certainly heard about those sorts of things, but I've heard other things going on in this town as well, and I was hoping such a person like yourself situated in a place like this would have heard something a bit more dark, I'd say.
And did you have any particular questions about that?
I think he casually just unfurls one of the bills from his roll and just kind of just leaves it in the bar and says, let's just say I'm interested in helping out those having to deal with things that bump in the night.
Well, I certainly know a thing or two about spirits, and it seems strange, though, that you'd make such a long journey from wherever it is you're from just to tip me extravagantly for and what I will admit is a very good cocktail.
Mr. Bartender said I go wherever I'm needed. And I think he reaches in his coat pocket, his jacket coat, takes out a business card. Thomas Chance, exorcist extraordinaire, at your service.
I see. That's I think Dante is going to kind of flick the business card and sort of like disappear it onto his person somewhere. And say, well, I'll bear you in mind, Mr. Chance, but we managed to keep ourselves safe around here, you know.
I think that he kind of like smiles again, but I think there's a bit more of an edge, and he says, "Well, either way, if things do go pear-shaped around here, I'll be around, Mr. Well, it's disrespectful for me to call you Mr. Bartender, sir. If you don't mind,
Dante is fine.
Dante. Well, thank you for the advice and for the lovely drink." And I think he kind of like I don't know. Imagine there's a straw, so he just kind of like goes and to drink on the straw. And I think he just kind of like just sits there for like a good few more minutes, just drinking as you kind of do about your business. And I think that's when like the nice thing with having demon heritage is just like you just know when like stuff is happening, I guess. So what does it feel like when like demons are in the vicinity? What's like the tell?
I think it's almost like when you can like feel the heat come off of a fire or something like that. It's that sort of feeling, even over like the muggy evening of a Miami or a Florida night.
Yeah, I think you feel that twinge in the middle. You're working in the middle right now, but again, I think you feel that twinge, and it's fierce. It's like a sharp tick, and I think you feel that in the. I think you can tell where the direction is, and you know the direction because you know Angie. You can tell like directions towards kind of like her college right now. What do? You're in the middle of working.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm going to find one of my colleagues who's on shift tonight, who I think we'll say it's Sandy. Her name is, and I'm going to say, hey, Sandy, I'm really sorry to bail, but I just got a call. My abuela's sick again, and I just need to go and get her some stuff. Look, do you mind just covering? I should only be an hour or so, and then I'll be right back.
I think she eyes you. There's a glint of suspicion. It kind of feels like Dante does this a lot. So I think you're gonna need to roll. So there's like one basic move in this game, which is rad. when you do something risky, like lie to your work colleagues, ask the GM what some possible consequences are, then roll plus whatever stat seems most appropriate.
Yeah.
So, I think
Yeah, so,
okay.
So what do you think is going to be the outcome of this if it goes wrong?
Well, there's some possible consequences. You owe her. She gets more suspicious. She tells on you to the boss. There's a lot of different consequences. I think the main one is that she becomes more suspicious for sure.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Doing. So what stat is most appropriate? I think you're trying to keep your cool.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Ooh, that's a total of 14. So
wow.
Totally unnecessary double 6 there.
That's fair. All right. So I think Sandy sighs and she says, like, you really need to get that. Oh, what was the lie you said again? Boiler? Is it?
No, my gran is
okay.
ill, and yeah.
I think she sighs and her eyes kind of soften. She says, "Well, I hope your grandma's okay."
I'm sure she'll be fine.
Yeah, well, go ahead. No, I'll take care of things. I think she even kind of pats you on the shoulder, like sympathetically.
I feel a little bad, but only a little. Demons hunt and all that.
Mm-hmm. I think as you leave, you probably feel Thomas Chance's eyes on your back as you leave. All right, let's cut to the other two. Gideon. So you're about to leave. Where are you? You're going home, I guess. You just finished lecturing for the day.
I was going to go to Inferno for a drink.
Oh no! I think also you're gonna run into Dante as he's leaving, I guess. Hey.
Fancy seeing you leaving Inferno at pace.
Oh, Gideon, man, how's it going?
It's going fine. You've got that look in your eye, Dante.
Yeah, there's something up. I think back at the college, I can kind of, I've got that feeling.
Well, it's only 100 yards that way.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get things cleared up fairly quickly and, back to my shift.
Lead on, my friend.
All right, so two of you are going to head off to college, back to the college. So I guess we'll go to Stone. I have to ask now, Stone, just to put everyone in a convenient spot. Were you brooding at the college?
Of course, I was brooding at the college. I was brooding wherever is narratively convenient to step out of the shadows. And the strange thing that Stone was observing is whatever Leandro is about to say, we see happens.
Okay, so. You're brooding. Okay, so I'll just hard frame where you are because I'm being seen here. Stone, you're kind of like, I'm imagining you are on top of like a building or so, looking down like a college quad or so, and Angel is basically just hard framed every episode. So yeah, I think. You're just watching over the quad and imagine it's a nice, peaceful, moonlit sort of night. Whoops. And you see, and it's fairly empty-ish. Most of the folks have kind of left. Absolutely doing a Batman thing on the gargoyle. Stone is. And you see a figure walk out of the quad, and it's just another college student. For some reason, I'm imagining Jean is wearing a cap. It's a nice blue baseball cap, just to give them more distinguishing marks. And they're kind of walking, shoulders kind of hunched, just looking, a tired college student. Oh, whoop-de-dee, another one of those. And okay, here's the thing that kind of comes out of the door as Jean is walking. Well, it doesn't really burst through the door. It's more like it squeezes through the door. Okay, an arm squeezes out of the door. It's long and spindly, like it's like an arm that's like its digits have been elongated a bit, and it just squeezes out. It doesn't open the door, and it kind of its hand reaches down into the ground and kind of like pulls the rest of it out through the door as well. And look, it's squeezing through, and there's a moment where like this thin sort of like just shape goes through the door, and slowly it flattens out as it comes out of the door, and you see like this like thin like pale white sort of snout kind of like come out, and the shape the head that's coming out the door kind of like takes shape as it's like squeezing it through the door, and you can tell like it's like a it has the characteristics of what looks like a wolf, but its skin is so white and mottled, like it's spent a few days in the water, and when it opens its mouth, its teeth are all like broken, but it's glistening in like saliva and whatnot, and it keeps pulling itself out, and you can see like it. Well, I think you've seen enough, Stone, but it's still in the middle, pulling itself out of the door.
I think. How close is the building I'm stood on to it?
I'm imagining you're on this building, and it's
Yeah.
coming out of this building, and
Okay.
Gene is walking there, in the middle. They've not noticed this thing that's stalking. That's that's hunting them, so to speak.
I think that what Stone does is he just steps off the rooftop and plummets to the very Batman style, like lands in the three point landing,
Of course.
and draws himself up and just starts walking like stiffly towards the wolf beast, like to interpose himself in between, the monster and the victims.
I think Gene absolutely notices that.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
He's not subtle.
Yeah, and I think as you kind of land, Gene turns and just gives like a loud like yelp. I think it's loud enough. I'm imagining this is close to, just to narratively tie things all together, it's close to where Angie's working. But I don't know, Angie, are you knee deep in work? Would you notice if Gene lets out a yell? You're muted, Libby. Libby, you're muted.
Sorry, I think I was totally being honest when I said I was wrapping up, so I would notice.
Yeah. So okay, all right. So you would notice. I think you hear the scream, and when we cut, you see like Angie, you're shutting down the computers, and you hear that yell. And I think when we get a quick shot as well of Dante and Gideon coming back to the college, and you'll hear that yell, and you, Stone, in front of this like spindly wolf thing, as it's like halfway out of the door, and it looks at you with like these pure obsidian black eyes, and it snarls and it says, "Find your own prey, golem."
And I think Stone's like completely grim visage suddenly cracks into a wide like smile, and he just like says, "I have," and just leaps straight forward at the wolf.
Fucking hell. All right, so this is something risky. You're just gonna leap at him? What do you have on you?
My bare hands.
Okay. All right.
I mean, what could I have on me actually? Because I didn't take the talons. Maybe like a knife or something. Just like,
Yeah, you can have a knife. I mean, if you want to just go bare hands, it's fine.
No, I think
the same.
I think he smiles, and as he smiles, he whips out this like long, jagged, like old-fashioned kind of like dagger thing out of his coat pocket, and just holds it up and smiles, and then he says that, and then he just runs straight at the monster.
Nice. All right. You are absolutely. Which stat are you rolling with?
I think that would be tough.
Hell yeah. Possible consequences. You're flinging yourself against a weird, horrible wolf demon thing. Guess what consequences could happen? All right, roll. It's 2d6.
That is a 11.
God. All right. Oh, actually, let me look at my notes for this thing. My notes call it demon thingy. If you want to know how organized I was for today. So yeah, tell me what happens when you kind of like just leap at this thing.
I think that what happens is the wolf thing like lashes out with one of its like long claws, and just catches Stone straight across the face, and it like leaves like lines across his face, but they don't bleed. And he just like he just doesn't even slow him down, and he just smiles even wider, and like hacks down with his like grabs the hand as it comes past it, and then just hacks down with his knife on it.
Nice. I think you got a hand and it hacks, and I think when you like hold it, like it doesn't feel like flesh. It feels like brittle, sort of like plastic. So when you hack it down, there's like this cracking noise as you rip out its hand, and the wolf howls, but it's a horrible choking howl, and you hear it. Everyone else hears this horrible like sort of horrible noise. And here's the next thing that happens. It like scrambles to like pull itself through the door, but it moves so fast that it actually like its top half kind of like detaches for something, and it kind of like lands, and it's like the top half of this wolf thing, and it's kind of like scrambling to get up on its other hand. But but what you see, Stone, is like you ripped off its one hand, and you can see like already something's like bubbling and crackling into place. It's kind of like as it's kind of like reforming or something. Angie, are you out of the computer lab?
Yeah, I think like I immediately just barrel down to the like the entrance where I saw, like, I imagine I could like look out the window and see that the quad or whatever, and maybe even see Stone like going towards the monster. So I just like barrel down to that entrance.
Here's what you see. You see like these two mottled white like sort of legs and this like lower half of this body, and you can see like again it's bubbling and crackling as like this wolf head kind of like starts poking out and starts forming. What do you do?
Okay, I'm going to just if there's like something in the entranceway, like I don't know, like a table or something, I'm gonna like throw it at the lower half of the demon.
Hell yeah. So possible consequences. You get its attention.
Would this count as being foolhardy?
You don't have a plan. You see the danger and you're like, I'm gonna try and fight it.
Yeah.
So, hell yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna roll plus cool then. So I'm gonna roll. So does that mean I roll 2d6 plus 1?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I got an 11.
Jesus, y'all are rolling. I say horribly well only because it's horrible for me, which is fine. Yeah. So on the 10 plus, pick one.
Okay, so I'm going to distract whatever's there long enough to give a friend advantage on their next roll against it. So I'm going to try to give Stone advantage on his next roll.
Hell yeah! So yeah, you toss the chair, and I think you just you catch the wolf head that's coming out and the snout, and I think you just kind of like smash it against the door, and I think away from you, because it's a 10 plus, and yeah, it flings through the door and kind of like lands in a heap, and it's still kind of forming and crackling. I think at this point, Gideon and Dante, you can get to the quad now. I'll turn to you, Gideon. So here's what you see. You see a college kid on their butt. They're they've still got their baseball hat on. I don't know why it's very important, but yeah, they're there. Flat on their butt, kind of like looking horrified and shocked as you see your colleague Stone holding this. I think the arm is still kind of like wiggling and doing something.
I think you see him hold the arm and then flip it around and then hold it like he's got a club in the other hand.
yeah. So Gideon, you see that, and you see like this wolf thing. I think at this point it's got half a new arm as it's kind of like standing up, and you see like the door behind it kind of like open, and this other wolf plastic horrible creature thing burst out of the door. It's forming out of these legs. I think you can probably see Angie on the other side of the doors. Gideon, what's up? What do you do?
I think I am going to let Stone worry about the one that may harass Angie, and instead I hold out my hand and grip it like so to hold a personal monster in place. So the one that Stone has already done some harm to, I want to hold in place while allowing him to go after the other half. So that's roll plus weird, which is 2. 4. That was a close thing. So that's 7. On 7, choose an effect, hold it in place. On 7 to 9, choose a glitch. I think the effect is weakened or shortened, so there isn't much time for Dante to do his stuff to it.
Okay. Yeah, so what does it look like when Gideon performs magic, actually? What does it look like when you successfully cast the spell?
Yeah, I don't think there's any much in the way of flashbangs. I think you see him hold out his hand, there's a slight glow, he gestures with it, and the wolf thing is kind of thrown up like so, and then he goes like that, and it's splayed out in space.
Nice. So yeah, it's a short effect. You do hold it in its place, but like I think you can still see its arm is still reforming, even though it's in place. It's nearly fully formed. And I think you see its lower half. You can see like the cracking. And I think everyone hears like this cracking noise as it's forming things. But I think your effect, actually, what happened? Here's why it's shortened. It's weakened or shortened. I think your magic actually like supercharged the reforming process. It's held in place, but you can see that the top demon wolf half is already turning full demon very quickly. So Dante, you come with Gideon, and Gideon's done his thing. How do you fight demons, Dante? This is like I'm when I said that, for some reason I started flashbacking to playing games on my PS2. I don't know why.
Yeah, so I think because I kind of just quite like, I think kind of silvery knives and or swords that I think kind of just tend to appear from seemingly nowhere. So yeah, I think Dante is going to kind of stop for a moment, kind of fold his arms and say, Stone, fancy meeting you again. You'll be putting me out of a job soon. We really should get a rota so we can sort this out. I'll get into so much less trouble with my boss. And then I think he just like does that kind of flick with his hands, and a pair of silver daggers appear in each one. He's going to leap towards this one that's being held in place on the floor and attempt to sort of slice it into pieces with the 2 knives.
Hell yeah. And you know how to efficiently dispatch this particular kind of monster.
I do indeed.
What are you rolling with?
I'm guessing probably just tough, because I think I'm just like taking them on in a fairly sort of head-on way.
Mhm.
And that's a 10.
Jesus. No one is gonna get XP from this unless you hit your keys. I'm sorry. Yeah. So on a 10 plus, we pick 2, and on a 7 plus, you're gonna deal harm equal to your lower die from that roll, which is a 4. Or is it a 4? No, it's a 3. It's a 3. I'm looking at the wrong dice.
Yes, it's 3. Yeah, it's lower. So I think I'm going to put my enemy where I want them, which I think actually in this case is probably scattered across the lawn of the the campus thing. Lost the word I was looking for. And I will avoid taking harm.
That's fair. All right. So let's see. Look at the damage. Okay. All right. So you slice and hack and just in a flurry of beautiful violence. As seen by Stone and Angie, you just see like you through the door. Dante comes out of nowhere and just starts slicing the other thing in half. So as this is kind of happening, cut to you, Stone. You have acquired a new club. Angie has seemingly tossed out another demon thing from the other side of the door. You've got advantage. What do you do?
I mean, I think he just attacks again. Like he just lets out like a massive laugh and leaps forward and slams down the club on the demon that Angie's just pushed outside.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is gonna be more tough. Roll. I mean, this beagle's gonna let you do whatever you want. What am I even doing here? So this dice roller.
Okay, so that is again an 11.
All right, I was gonna say you take advantage of this roll, but what's even the point? It's fine, even if you. I'm gonna say that advantage is spent though. I'll just say because it just makes sense. Yeah, are you using the? You're using the arm.
I mean, as well, I feel like it was kind of like a flurry of just like savage kind of, smash down with a club and then like start stabbing away like some sort of demented machine.
Hell yeah. I think. Let me look at the stats. What is enough left? Yeah, no, I think between you and Dante, these demon things kind of don't stand a chance. I think you just kind of smash it to bits, and I think by the end of it, Angie, when you come out to the quad, there's lots of demon bits just lying around. You see your friend Jean still lying on their butt, like at all this.
Oh man, these guys with PCP, really bad. And then I like help her up and kind of lead her off of the quad.
I think she's quite she looks like she's taking big deep breaths. It's a PC. What?
Like druggies. Like they just have weird physical stuff going on. So I mean, I'm writing a very important op-ed about it tomorrow. Just take deep breaths.
but those things, they and Angie, I dreamt those things and they became real, Angie.
You dreamt them?
Yeah. Do you remember last night I texted you at like 4 a.m. asking you what's up? I was So I had a dream. I had a nightmare, and it was those things. They were making these cracking noise. What the hell were they? It's just. But they were there. They were in my dreams. It was exactly like this. I was walking in the quad, and they came out, and actually the dream didn't end well.
I mean, it was just a dream, right? But maybe it'll make you feel better to tell me what happened.
I don't know, Angie. I think I might need like. No offense, Angie, but I think I need professional help for this.
My friend's a bartender.
I think as you're leading her away, you pass by like a notice board, and you can say like you see like all the usual notices, whatnot, college or whatnot, and also there's like two notice boards. There's college stuff and local town stuff. So on the college stuff, there's like, oh hey, we're doing a festival of color. Everyone come to the quad and douse each other with color. It's great fun. Man, I miss college. And there's like, stuff like a lost bike. There's a screening of Plan 9 for Outer Space, from Outer Space, the Halloween screening for the sci-fi club, that sort of thing. And the local news, there's like, there's an ad. For some reason, there's an ad for Inferno. That shouldn't be there in a college, but okay. I don't think people are allowed. No, okay, that's not there. Oh no, there is an ad for like a college student night at the Inferno. It's a disco night for students, that sort of thing. But there is like a really nice glossy. I think Jean kind of sees that, and she kind of like almost like. I think you'll notice this. You're a Snoop. You'll notice this almost like trance like. She kind of goes up to the local office notice, and she says like, "No offense, Angie, but I think I really need professional help." And what you're seeing is like there is a quite glossy like advertisement for okay, so there's this guy in a suit on the advertisement, and there's just a slogan, Thomas Chance, exorcist extraordinaire. And call now for those who need help against things that go bump in the night. Not the catchiest slogan, but he doesn't have his own. He does his own marketing. So,
has Gideon observed this conversation?
Yeah, I think Dante and Stone are busy dispatching whatever they do with the demon parts. So Gideon, I think, as the things calm down, you'll see Angie taking Jean away from the place. And you see Jean is quite upset.
And I think he'll catch up with Angie and say, just tell her to take some of this tea before she goes to bed. It'll calm her down.
Yeah, Jean. Gideon knows what he's doing. He's professional, something, and I've used his teas before, so I give her the tea.
I think she kind of like takes it, but I think she kind of absentmindedly takes it, but I think her eyes are kind of like still on
Jean, I don't. If you go see this guy, can I come with you? Can I like just to make sure that he's okay?
I think this is a bit of a role. I will say you will. So she will probably say yes. This role is more like things are happening. There's something, I don't know. There's a weird vibe, kind of like settling down the squad.
Okay, so would I roll plus something? Or?
Yeah, I think you're probably like. I think because you notice that looks like she wants to go, even as Gideon kind of gives her the tea. It's probably sharp, let's say.
Okay.
Being quite sharp.
Okay. But plus 2, so that's 8.
Cool. I think here's what happens. Kind of like Jean, kind of like when you say that, she nods and she says, "Okay, Okay, Angie, I trust you, but just you, okay? I think your eyes kind of like go over to like Gideon, or I guess as she knows him, Professor Gideon, or I, I guess like because
Professor Fell.
Professor Fell. Ooh, I think yeah. I think Jean kind of like pockets a tea and like, no offense, Professor, but just you, okay, Angie? Is that okay?
That I will come with you. I would feel so much better if you had a buddy with you.
And check that key and. Nice. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned.
So
Yeah, well,
subtle, so subtle.
no, it's fine. Like, there's no need to be so.
there's no subtlety in Buffy.
That is true. That is true. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna ask how the other two dispose of demons. Only that at some point, Stone, that arm you're wielding, there's a point where like the end where you cut off, it starts crackling as if like, oh shit, as if it starts like reforming again. So whatever the two of you do to dispose of these parts, um, I don't know if that's a conversation to be had, but I think that's just a thing you notice.
I think
You-
Dante's silver cuts wounds that don't reheal on these things. It's given that he's a demon hunter, right? He would know how to vanquish these demons.
that's very true. Yeah, so yeah, we don't need to concentrate on that. Okay, so we've been here for like an hour and a half. Let's take a 6-minute break. Come back at the top, and then we'll come back into this session and see where everyone goes with all these weird wolf demon things. So be back in 6.
So Leandro, with the keys, I was thinking that Stone's unnatural hunger would just be for basically more fighting, more more monsters, more throwing himself at whatever comes near. And I wouldn't have said that like the one person at the university counted as revealing my true form somewhere public. You're muted, man.
For God's sake, I was saying a lot of probably insightful stuff. No, I wasn't. Yeah, I don't know if it counts as completely public. Yeah, there's just one person in the dark of the night.
But for the third one, when you allow the GM to momentarily take control of you, just give yourself a blanket pass on that. Basically, my idea is that basically when Stone gets fighting, sometimes he just turns to the nearest body to him and just thinks, "You're next." You know, like.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I just want to do a quick
Good
check
to
in.
know.
That's very good to know. How are folks doing? Folks doing fine? Cool. All right. So, let me just look. There's actually there is a flow to this game that I've completely ignored. The opening. I'm sorry, Jesse. I know you'll be watching this, Jesse, but I just want to tell you now, I'm sorry. I've had 4 hours of sleep. Okay. All right. So probably cut to the next day. Let's just say for convenience sake, it's a weekend so that Angie doesn't have any college stuff she has to do. Not that I know of college students to be. Well, no. I must know the wrong college students things. I don't ever remember seeing them work at any time. Yeah. So yeah, it's the next day. Whatever Dante does, it means there's no more demons in the quad. Demons in the quad, which is my next Forged in the Dark project. So there's no trace, and yeah, what are people's kind of like plans? So I know Angie's taking Jean to go meet this man, Thomas Chance, and I think kind of like Jean kind of like meets up with you probably like in town ish, and she tells you Angie to like she put in a call to Mr. Chance and says that he has like he's staying at the nicest motel in Sunset Falls, which is probably like what an okay sort of travel lodge. It's fine. But so that's what Angie's doing. But like, I want to know, like, what are the other three doing? Or did y'all have like a chat about what's happening? Actually,
I'd like to have a flashback to the chat we had afterwards, because Angie took Jean off, leaving Stone, Dante, and I to just tidy up. I'm not quite certain what remains there are, but we will have tidied up. And I think I think I could do with a drink.
Yeah. So I think we cut from. Oh yeah. So let's concentrate back on that night before. So we cut from there back to the bar.
And in the bar, I share with Stone and Dante a story my grandfather told me about temptation. That sometimes the higher ups in the demon hierarchy arrange for cannon fodder to come to this plane of existence, so that they in effect drum up trade for the demon that's higher up the hierarchy. And I'm just looking at, how convenient that an exorcist blows in from out of town with a nice glossy advert the night that suddenly we've got demons crawling out the administrative block of the college. So, I just put that on the table, guys, so you I'd feel guilty if I didn't mention it. But I don't like this chance guy.
I think Stone just nods very solemnly and just says under it, like in a very soft voice, that it doesn't matter how many will come, they'll all go back.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it was mighty coincidental of the guy turning up just when we had all these demons popping up out of the woodwork. But then again, we seem to have demons popping out of the woodwork a whole lot. So, but I agree. I got a kind of weird vibe off of him. I think at that point I will kind of conjure the business card he gave me. He handed me this, Gideon. I don't know if you can do anything with that.
Oh, I certainly want to try. I think that I want to use this to see across time and space, to just see what I can see of Mr. Chance earlier today. Yeah? So I'll roll with weird.
Hell yeah.
There we go. 9, 10, 11. What can I tell you?
It's one of those sessions. Yeah.
What I'm wanting to see is I want to see Chance's day. You know, I want to know where he was and when he was.
As in that day, that specific day?
Well, this appears to be the day he's come into town.
Oh, yes.
We know that he was at Dante's bar an hour ago.
Mm.
So it's the run up to that.
Okay. All right. See across space and time. What an effect. I think what does this look like when Gideon peers through time and space?
I think he holds up the card, and what kind of bar is this, Dante? Is this neon or candlelight?
Oh yeah, much more sort of neon and disco-y, and some of those like flame, those little gas flame burner things around the room, tiki torches, that sort of thing.
So I think what he does is he holds up the card in front of a bright light, be it natural, gaseous, or neon, and peers focuses on the name and the essence that this card provides. The oil from the fingers, the scent of his aftershave, and that's what he uses as the connection. And then he will peer through this. And I think if we are spending the budget, then we will see that card dissolve into whatever's interesting in his day.
It's probably like an effect that's been reused throughout the series. Whenever you use this this power, like you hold up a cup and it does the same like dissolve effect as you see through. And I think what you see is it's this nondescript road, kind of like a few miles away from Sunset Falls. There's this nice like sedan parked on the side, and I think sitting on top of like the sedan, looking quite giddy, is Thomas Chance, and he's on his phone and he's calling out, "Yeah, is the advert up? Well, that's good to know, Miriam. And the student? Well, look, Miriam, I asked which of the students you would care least to see, or people would care least to." Would care most. Actually, no, let me redact that. Miriam, I asked you to find me a student that people would care most about if something were to happen. And look, I know you don't like them, but come on. It's all part of the... Miriam, I don't want to... I think for... Out of context, I think Angie would know this. Or no, Gideon, you would know this because you worked at the school. Professor Fell would know this. Miriam, Thomas is talking to who you know to be the guidance counselor, Miriam Crawford, and they cut back the conversation like, "Look, Miriam, I know you'd want to. I'm asking only for one. It's a demonstration, okay? If it works out, then sure we can keep going. But I just need one right now. We're not gonna be able to do more if the first stage doesn't go as well as we'd like it to. All right. Okay. Jean. Tell me her name again. Jean. What's Jean's last name? No, it doesn't matter. It's not important. Watson. We'll give her the name. Jean Watson. Okay. All right. Jean Watson. All right. Yes, it kind of matters. Okay, fine. Okay, Jean Watson. Okay. Is that her? I'll see you later, Miriam. And she closes his phone, and then kind of like hops off the sedan, and he walks out to like the field next to the road. Imagine it's like early morning. It's an overcast sort of sky, and he walks off, and you can see like there's a small bonfire. He set up a small bonfire, and then he starts pulling out like what you notice to be like, I guess, ingredients for something, and you would know this.
Arcane materials.
Yeah. I will say you will notice his form is a bit sloppy. He's not as careful as you think he should be. He's placing like these ingredients, like I don't know, a small tin of like jasmine oil. That's not a thing. But you know it's a jasmine oil, a essence of this specific flower, and like ash from a certain kind of fire. And he kind of arranges that, and then he just kind of very casually lights a match, throws it, and as soon as it hits the flames, I think you get this overwhelming sense of like heat on you, Gideon, and like this like this gout of flame kind of like shoots out from the bonfire, and you swear, Gideon, you can see. Actually, no, you rolled a 10, so you don't see it, but so you can't tell for sure if like you see something lurking behind the fire and the smoke. Actually, it's smoke. It's like burst of fire, and suddenly it's just like big black smoke, and you feel like someone has just very ungainly torn a rip through kind of reality. And as soon as like that rip, that tear is kind of open, you feel it kind of like there's that shadow gate in town. That local shadow gate, nexus of dark energies. You feel as if like suddenly whatever dark energy was flowing through the shadow gate kind of like just go into whatever tear that's just opened up. And I think suddenly you feel like the vision kind of get more distorted and staticky as kind of like this tear opens.
I think that's the point at which I will withdraw. Because the risk is at some point it might see me across time and space. So I think there's eye contact between the three of us. And I say, Mr. Chance is very bad magic. And I message Angie to say, Chance is very bad magic. Don't go anywhere near him. ...
I text back, I would never ...
I'm looking at those keys, man.
We've had these exchanges in previous episodes, I think.
All right. So speaking of Angie, let's just cut to that, and then if folks want to like mention anything else they want to prepare, we just say we'll flashback that. So Angie, I think Jean's kind of like message you saying we have to meet at Mr. Chance's like motel that he's staying on. It's a good name for a motel. Like really one of those small town. This is where folks gather.
Let me think. I don't know. They're usually just called like Sunset Motel or something like that. Although, yeah, that's a little bit on the nose here.
The Twilight Motel.
Oh, that's good. Twilight Motel.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a sunset. Yeah, so I think Jean looks really worn out. Like I don't think she doesn't look like she got any sleep. She's taken off her baseball cap. She's got a hoodie on. She looks proper down. I think when she kind of comes up to you, she kind of like looks a bit abashed and it's like, Angie, this is gonna be a bit silly, but could you like hold my hand?
I will totally hold your hand. So I take her hand. Did you drink Professor Fell's tea? Did it help?
Angie, honestly, I just mostly like sat down and didn't really sleep.
You're afraid of the dreams?
I don't know. Like, I dreamt something that came true, Angie, and I'm worried that I don't know. I don't like spoilers. I guess I don't want to. Now that I know it could happen, I don't know that I might dream something and I have to spend the rest of the day looking out for it. You know?
Okay, well, let's see if this chance guy can help, and if not, I'll be right there with you.
I think she squeezes your hand and she says like, I mean, Angie, I always knew you were the coolest, but now I really know you're the coolest.
You are also the coolest. And we go in.
Yeah, I think it's the Twilight Motel. I'm gonna ask each person a detail for this motel because it sounds like we're gonna spend some time here. So start with you, Angie. When you walk in, what's kind of like the first thing you notice? We're still at that kind of like the reception, like lobby room, I guess.
Oh man, I've been in so many of these places. This one has like an elephant motif. Like there's like it looks like it hasn't been redone since like the 70s, and it's got like this like awful avocado green and like lemon yellow elephant motif all over it.
Nice. We'll go to everyone else. What are the details you think are in this Twilight Motel? Anyone who has a detail can jump in.
I think it's got an old style elevator with the gate that you pull across, but it's all very still kind of like shabby ornate, like wooden panels on the inside of the elevator and so forth. And you can see a sort of like a stool that was built into the wall of the back of the elevator where once a bellhop would have stood and pressed the buttons for people.
The guy on the desk here, the local kids call him Lurch, and he's very tall and doesn't say a lot.
Yeah, and I think the outside of the back of the motel, it's got one of those big, like almost like heart-shaped swimming pools that's currently covered in leaves.
God. I know his exact motel. I think when you walk into the lobby and Lurch is lurching, he's doing his thing. His name is not Lurch, but he doesn't have a name tag, so he's just Lurch. I think when you walk in there, and the first thing you see past all that, I think you see that man from the advert just sitting in one of the couches, and he just stands up very fluidly, and almost like in this suit. It doesn't look like there's any creases on his suit. And he just kind of walks over and extends a hand and says, "Hi, Thomas Chance, at your service. You must be Jean." And Jean kind of like gives you a look for a moment, Angie, and then kind of like extends her other hand and says, "Yeah, this is my friend Angie." Um,
Yes. One moment. What exactly are your qualifications to call yourself an exorcist?
I think Thomas smiles and he says, "Well, nice to meet you, Angie. If you're asking for my qualifications, well, you can check my website. I have plenty of testimonials, but of course, do you mind if I ask, Angie, what are you studying for college?"
Journalism.
Well, then I presume that whatever I have on my website can, of course, be ultimately false. If you don't mind me just laying it out there.
Yes. I mean, I would just like to know why you believe you can do anything to help my very good friend.
I think what does it do? I feel like I'm asking for a role here. You're threading you're treading on risky ground here.
Okay. Um.
Oh, I should
Okay,
note also a small detail. When you kind of like were walking towards the motel, you notice that there's not many cars parked in front, but there's a very shiny black sedan, and it's so out of place. You know it's his. A small detail, just in case.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I guess I'll roll. Am I rolling like plus sharp or cool?
I think. I kind of think it's cool because you're straight up, just like at his face right now. I think like you're asking these questions, and Jean kind of like is like, "Angie, you're doing your thing."
Yes. I think this roller is broken. I got an 11.
Yeah, I'm all right. Okay, me and the beagle, which this dice roll have to talk because you know what the beagle's doing? It's preventing you from getting XP. It's preventing you from getting at least one move in the middle of this. Okay, I think. Okay, I think Thomas smiles and he says, "Well, I could rattle off my qualifications, my testimonials, my even the Vatican approved writ of exorcism that I acquired from the Roman Catholic Church. But if you don't mind me saying, Miss, I think he's waiting to like for you to say your last name or something like that.
Clunan.
I think I know exactly what you were looking at. Not that surname. Miss Clunan. Why, I believe. Would you be satisfied with a demonstration?
Sure.
I think well then, ladies, if you would follow me. And I think as he turns, again, Jean kind of gives your hand another squeeze. And she kind of looks like she looks relieved that you're coming along with her. All right. So as you kind of get into the rickety elevator with like really bad elevator music, I think you see this as well. In the elevator, Mr. Chance kind of like Thomas kind of like adjusts his cufflinks a bit, and he says like, much like anyone in this business, we all get plenty of naysayers, Miss Kuhn, and I understand why you're suspicious. But unlike most people in this business, I tend to back up what I offer. And all I'm offering is peace of mind to your friend and yourself even.
To me?
Well, if it will help you lay your doubts to rest, then I'll do whatever I can.
Well, I guess we'll see about that.
I think, and we'll cut from there as he's like, and it's like he has very distinctive, nice cufflinks, and we'll cut from there. To okay, here I have to ask, who kept the business card? Oh no, it burned into a flash, right? Okay, this disintegrates the thing. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Where are you now, Gideon?
I think I'm going to see the guidance counselor.
Ooh. Oh wait, I'll ask where everyone else is going. Actually, so that's what you're doing. Dante, what are you up to?
I think, and we maybe get like a reveal of this as the as we see Angie going up in the lift. But I think that Dante is maybe staking out the motel. He's watching the building with a pair of binoculars from a from his car, which is probably a needless muscle car of some variety or other.
Totally inconspicuous. And Stone?
I think Stone is just sat in the back of Dante's muscle car, just staring stonily off towards the hotel as well.
So no one decided to go with Gideon. Okay, right. Okay.
I don't think I would have fit in with the guidance counselor.
Okay. Let's stick with Gideon for now. Actually, no. We just had Gideon. I'm just thinking. Well, let's cut to the two at the car first. I do want to know, like, as you're staking out, what's Dante expecting to happen?
Probably, more demons pouring forth in a sort of hellish tide, the usual sort of thing, really. It's yeah. I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, all right. So you're just keeping watch in a motel. I do want to know if like any conversation happens between you and Stone. Is Stone a conversationalist in any way?
Very much not. I think there's a lot. There's a couple of scenes of like Dante sort of like rambling on for a bit and then turning to Stone for a response, and it's just a stone-faced stare back at him like clockwork, and the head turns on a swivel and looks back out the window.
Of course. All right. We'll come back to you, see if like you've solved, I don't know, quantum physics, and we'll cut to Gideon somewhere in that conversation. Gideon, what can you tell me about Miss Miriam Crawford?
I think she's new. I think she's only been here for this term. Is that a semester across the pond? And she doesn't socialize much. You don't often see her in the faculty bar or chatting to people. But the word is that she's very good with the students.
She's probably the kind of character that was introduced like 4 or 5 episodes ago, and probably people didn't think, oh, it's just gonna be a thing. So yeah, I think you'll probably find her in her office. I think it's probably in the middle of like. I don't think it's vacant. There's a sign there. It says like it's vacant. It's just so you don't bump into like if she's in the middle of a counseling session. Yeah, I think you walk in. It's a small kind of actually no. It's a fairly big enough sort of office. The main thing you'll notice is the couch, kind of like to the side, like perpendicular to her desk, and I think other than that, there's not much. Maybe like the obligatory shelf full of files and books and whatnot, and there's a work computer, and I think she's kind of like typing. She's typing with one hand and kind of like testily eating she's chomping on a wafer stick, and and she looks up when you come in and says, "Ah, Gideon. Don't normally see you around here."
No. Hi, Miss Crawford. I hope you don't mind me popping my head in. I just saw a student yesterday in some distress, and I, I'm not sure what to do about it.
I think she kind of points at there is a seat in front of the desk, not just the couch, and she sighs, kind of like, "Do you mind telling me who the student is?" Chomp the wafer.
Yes. It's Jean, and now I've forgotten Jean's second name.
Watson.
Jean, where's a blue baseball cap a lot?
Oh, Miss Watson.
Jean Watson. That's right. Anything I should know about any work you're doing with her? And Gideon is absolutely scoping out what reaction that name gets from Miss Cartwright.
All right. What stat are you rolling with?
I think that's risky sharp.
Risky sharp, my favorite position in effect.
Okay, here we go. That's only a 6 + 1.
Gosh. Okay. All right.
So yeah, it works. I get a sense of her reaction, but it's at a cost.
Okay. All right. Here is the cost. She kind of nods, and starts kind of like typing again. I think her wafer stick was only like nearly halfway through, but when you say like Jean Watson, she kind of nods quite warily, starts typing, and you'll notice like she's chewing on the wafer stick far more quickly than she did before. It's almost like she just decided to just eat it all in one go, and she's kind of like, and I think you see that like her like brows have kind of like tensed up a bit, and she kind of just very like casually says, "Jean Watson, I didn't know she took your classes."
No, I saw her outside class. She looked distressed. That's all.
Yes, she seems quite overworked, but then again, given all the stuff she does, I mean, after all, I think she's in the committee of 4 different societies on campus. She's doing well as a student representative. There's just so much on her plate. I mean, I wouldn't blame you, Professor, for getting distressed. After all, and I think both her hands are now like typing really fast. But I think you notice, what the hell is she typing? Like what the hell is she typing? And I think and she says like, it would break my heart if something would happen to her. So thank you very much for bringing that to my attention, Professor. And I think as she's typing, we'll cut to like a shot of, I think what we see is like, you can see she's sending like an email or something, and sends it, and we cut to like I think you're stepping out of the elevator, Angie, when Thomas takes out his phone, and you'll see this as well. Takes out his phone. It's a very quick, just like, I don't think he even unlocks the phone. He just sees the, you know how it is when it's just the notification and the email, and he puts it back on, and again, I think he fiddles with his cufflinks again, but this time you can clearly see he twists something, and I think he says like, well, my office is just a few doors down, and I think he'll keep leading you down. And cut to okay, what's the latest thing that Dante is saying to try and get Stone to say something?
Yeah, and of course that was just before Beelzebub invaded my 10th grade prom. That was a real mess, let me tell you. But how did you get in this line of work anyway?
I was made for it.
Cool. Like here, or are you just passing through?
I think Stone just looks puzzled for a second and says, "Before."
Yeah, well, yeah, it's usually these things get a bit more freaky before the thing's out. So I don't know what we're going to be getting next.
At that moment, something lands on the hood of your car. Just bang.
Stone smiles.
No. Something just lands. It's neither of the two girls who's following Thomas Chance. That thing unfurls, and and I think you'll see it right there in the windshield, Dante. This like, this trying to figure out. No, it's not the wolf thing again. I think it's kind of like the same sort of plastic material, but it's like, it's, I guess, for some reason I keep going back to the bat, the bat I jokingly mentioned, but no, okay, yeah, I think it's like this crackled, malformed, like bat face, kind of like peers through the windshield as it kind of unfurls from where it landed in the windshield, and I think it just looks at you, Dante, and it just says, "Demon killer."
Yeah, pretty much like this. I think as he's sort of turned around, he's kind of lent his elbow on like the control for the window sort of behind him, and I think he's going to throw himself sort of backwards out of the window and vault around on top of the car.
Wow. What a show off. All right, that's something risky for sure. You're being this is kind of you being cool, I guess. I don't know, it's up to you. You roll whatever is stat, but yeah, cool.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Ooh, that's a 7.
Oh, damn it. You said ooh, it's like ooh. Yeah, that was totally you making it harder just to look good, but
yeah, that is fair.
So
I have that.
yeah. Sorry, because it doesn't look like this beagle's gonna give you any -1, so I might as well hit as many keys as we can. Yeah, I think you flip on the top of the car, and okay, here's kind of like the cost or the complication. A second thing lands on the trunk side of the car. There's gonna be dents on your poor muscle car now, Dante. And Stone, you probably feel it as like instead of saying something, like arms just kind of crash through the windshield and try and like grasp you in the face. You're not gonna get any harm yet, but that's kind of complications. There's hands on you now, Stone.
Okay. I think that Stone grabs onto those hands and lets himself be pulled straight out the back of the car by his face. But then as he gets pulled backwards, he like holds onto them and just like contorts himself so that his feet just go straight into its face, like while he's still being gripped in a way that would crack the spine of a human being.
God. All right. That sounds like a tough. You're muted.
Just while I was rolling. That's a 10 with my +2.
For God's sake.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, well done. Well done.
Yes.
All right. So yeah. Yeah, I think you smash your face, you get out there, and I think the thing, and it's not a bad thing, kind of like gets thrown out into the road. I'll say right now, just to like preserve the the anonymity of this road is kind of fairly deserted. No one likes to stay at the Twilight Motel. Um, so I think you get out, and you're probably like, I don't know, back to back with Dante on top of the car. These two bat things kind of like just unfurl themselves, and they're a bit more. I guess they're a bit more wavy and like a bit more flexible than the wolf things for sure. And again, I think you hear kind of like a weird like hissing, it's like something hissing through like a broken pipe as these things kind of like just kind of almost like whisper like, demon killers at the two of you. Any badass one-liners before things start?
I think Stone just smiles very broadly again.
And I think, Dante is just going to kind of give a shrug and say, you see, you keep saying that, and yet you're demons. I see a problem with your whole plan here.
Rope was cold. Anyway, let's cut to Angie. I think we'll cut to like Thomas opening the door to his motel room, and it's a motel room. Looks all right. It's probably one of the nicer rooms in that the kitchen actually looks like a separate room instead of just being a kitchenette in the corner. And he says like, "Oh, I apologize. These are quite humble abodes, but we do what we need to do." And I think the main thing you'll notice, like, there is like a tape. There's like a bed. There's a bed, a TV, and just this room. There's like a small table and the kitchen further back. And I think he kind of like pats at the bed for two to sit down. He's gonna take the chair next to like the TV and the table, a small circle table, and he kind of looks at Jean and says, "Well, why don't you start, Jean, with what's been bedeviling you?" And because I don't like to talk to myself, I'm just gonna extrapolate what this conversation is going to be. Jean says that basically she dreamt exactly what happened. Well, not exactly. She didn't dream of saying, "Angie, you need to wrap things up and leave." She dreamt that of walking on the quad and heard this cracking behind me, this cracking noise. No, it's out of character. Not cracking in that. Oh, that was a cracking good show. Just to know, because we have British people. Sorry. There's a cracking noise. And I thought I could just walk over. I was walking through the quad. Everyone does that. But I kept walking, and it felt like the quad never ended. But this cracking kept coming and going and going until I had to turn around, and there was this thing, this wolf creature sort of thing, and it reached its hands toward my face, and then I woke up, and I thought, it's just a scary dream. You can't really explain that. But last night, Mr. Chance, it happened. It really happened. Like, Angie, you were there. You saw those things, right? You're muted. Libby, sorry.
I saw something. I don't know if it was anything otherworldly.
I think she actually looks a bit stricken when you say that.
Oh.
And I think Mr. Chance raises an eyebrow and then kind of like turns to Jean, almost like to like shut you away for a moment. and I think, and he says like, "So how did you escape?" I'm sorry to ask this, Miss. And Jean says, "Watson. I'm sorry to ask this, Miss Watson, but I'm quite relieved that that your real encounter didn't end as the dream did. But do you mind if I ask, how did you survive? And I think Jean shoots you another look, Angie. And because I think even in her like terror-fueled state, she kind of noticed you were kind of paddling around with Professor Gideon, and maybe not the two monster killers, but and I think Jean's kind of like, hi. No, she gives you a look first, as if she's waiting for you to respond. And Thomas looks at you as well, or Mr. Chance. So they're like, all right, what are you gonna say?
There was something or someone who did seem kind of weird, but Professor Phil and I scared them off.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at your sheet and I was looking at the movie. I was wondering, like, ooh.
Do I have a lie? No.
No, I was looking at the move you took, the curious one. You're not really poking around at the moment. You're under interrogation, I guess. But...
Yeah. It's kind of. I don't know if I have time. Like, I want to get in a place where I can poke around.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're gonna have to roll. You're doing something risky here.
Yes.
You're with this lie.
Okay. Can I roll plus? I guess that's plus cool, right?
Yeah. Keeping you cool.
I got a 10.
Really? I can't have anything. Okay, that's fine. I think Jean hears what you say and just nods resolutely. And I think Mr. Chance kind of like still looks a bit askance at that. Mm-hmm. And then he just says, well, it sounds like you have quite the friend, Jean. And it sounds like this Professor Gideon must have been quite a force if the two of you were able to scare something like what Jean said. Or what Miss Watson said.
Well, Professor Fell is very skilled, and I'm always I'm just like kind of look really hard at him and be like, and I'm always determined to protect my friends, and I just kind of glare at him.
I think this display Jean's kind of like I think her she looked really down, but I think her spirit kind of like picks up because Angie is the coolest. I think Thomas nods and she says, well, and he says, well, as a resolute friend, then I suppose you wouldn't mind. Hold on, no, that's not what he says. I'm trying to figure out like exactly what he's going to say. This is a bit tense. What's happening here? And I think, he says like, well then, since Jean trusts Miss Watson trusts you completely, then you wouldn't mind staying here while I conduct the procedure. And let me explain for the two of you what happens. I will conduct a ritual of my own devising, and well, let's see if the ritual takes hold for the next 24 hours or so. If it does, then my job is done. And I think I'm trying to figure out how he's gonna say like, and I'll only be accepting my token fee because this is still work. And I think he does launch into this kind of like business like explanation, like he's going to conduct a ritual. If it holds for like 24 hours, you'll have to just have to pay the flat fee. And I think him suddenly talking about business kind of like shocks Gene a bit. But then I realized, oh yeah, no, he's a working exorcist. He needs to get paid. And he says like if it doesn't take hold, then I will conduct a ritual again at a reduced, and if it holds again, then I'll be asking for a fee. It's a reduction if it doesn't take hold in the next 24 hours or so. So that's what he kind of lays out. And Gene's kind of like, sounds reasonable. The fee is quite big though. It's like I don't know in money terms, but like it's sizable. Like it would take a chunk. But Gene seems really up to it because it doesn't look like she has much of a choice unless I don't know you intervene something, Angie.
No, I think in a way like him asking for money like reassures me as well. I'm like, oh, okay, this guy's just a con artist. I can just like figure out what his scheme is and then like make him give the money back. And so I'm just like, oh, okay, this is just like normal mundane con artist.
Yeah, normal mundane con artist. Okay, that's fair. All right, so I think what he'll ask is just like, okay, it's simple. All Gene has to do is like, she's gonna like lie down and like and Thomas gonna start to set up like his paraphernalia. I think you've seen enough of, you probably like I don't know, slept through a bunch of Gideon's lectures enough to know that there's bits of this that are real. Okay, I should assume maybe you didn't sleep through Gideon's lectures. I don't know. Did you?
I mean, if I've been hanging around these folks long enough, then I've seen plenty of paraphernalia.
Yeah. And I think as he's setting up, Thomas says like, you're welcome to stick around. And I think as he's doing that, as he's kind of giving Gene like a sleeping draft, and he says like, "You're welcome to stick around, Miss Clunan. In fact, that would probably make Miss Watson feel a bit better. Although I will. Okay, yeah. What do you say? Sorry, I shouldn't add anymore.
Yeah, I insist that I stay and keep an eye on them. I mean, he's giving my young college friend a sleeping draft. I'm not leaving her alone in a hotel room with him.
That's absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. Yeah. All right. So I think here's kind of what happens. The ritual is quite quick. I think this is happening just as the second bat thing lands on the car. And I think there's like a moment where like Gene's lying on the bed, looking quite untroubled, surrounded by candles and torn up cards, and I think rosary beads are cut in half. It's all quite blasphemous. Actually, no, this is an exorcism. It would be cut in half. No, there's rosary beads. There's like I think there's a point where Thomas puts up a cross with like a chalk sign on the motel wall. What are you doing as this is kind of happening?
I mean, if he's distracted, I do want to like try to poke around as much as possible. I mean, at the very least, like see exactly what he's using and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
can I roll curious?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Roll plus sharp.
I'm sorry. I got a 12. Oh wait, no, I didn't. 7. Sorry. This thing always has a delay. Okay, 7 plus 2, 9. 9.
Oh boy. All right. Well, it's not oh boy. I mean, you get to ask a question. Nothing bad
Right.
happens.
Okay.
Still, it's a success. So.
Okay. So, what? Oh, there's so many that are good. Okay. I'm gonna do. What here is the greatest danger to me?
Okay. here, I think as kind of like, oh, here, okay, here's what happens. Thomas does this kind of like ritual, and I think there's a moment where like time seems to slow to a crawl, just like a quick moment, and you feel something like as if you notice like the three presences in this room: you, Thomas, and Jean. Like just like this moment, it's almost like there's actual power in this ritual. Like there's a moment where like the fabric of reality feels a bit porous, and you'll notice not a presence, not two presences, but presences, just kind of like watching over this.
Ew.
It's like you feel as if like there's like 100 eyes watching from some window in some little veil of reality.
That's creepy.
And we'll cut away from you to Gideon. And I think so. You're still at the office. I forgot her last name already. Miss Crawford. There we go. And she says like, I am glad, Professor Fell, that you're keeping a close eye on our students here. Not many.
Well, it's a collective responsibility, isn't it, Miss Crawford? Or do you mind if I call you Miriam?
I think she smiles. Miriam's fine. Oh, I'm being impolite. Would you like? And she pulls out like a cigarette case, and then she opens it, and you can see there are like more wafers in the cigarette case. It's like, would you mind?
No, I don't. Thank you. So I concluded that this is the Miriam Crawford who was on the other end of the phone from that look back in time, haven't I?
Mhm.
I confirmed
Yes.
that. The cost was that she warned friend Chance.
Yes.
I think my work here is done at this point. I need to go and talk to somebody else about this.
I think. Oh, what do you say?
I probably have a class to teach, so I tip my hat and thank her for listening. It's always good to know that the guidance counselor is available when we have these concerns.
I think she kind of like smiles and says, "Oh, are you sure, Miss Professor Fell? I mean, we have plenty of time." And she kind of like nods to the clock. And here's the thing you notice: you came in you came in at a specific time, but suddenly it's like an hour back.
So I've lost an hour or an hour. I'm just not quite clear. So I've spent a long time in here, yet the clock hasn't moved.
Yes. We have plenty of time, Professor Fell. But I guess if you do have a class to teach, don't let me keep you.
If I can leave, I will leave.
I think she kind of like smiles, takes out a wafer, and kind of like takes a bite out of it. And you can see like suddenly whatever nervousness that she had suddenly kind of like just kind of very not slowly, but like slowly enough that you can see kind of the change, kind of like the nervousness leave her body, and it's kind of like, and she's kind of like, well, we do have plenty of time. Professor Fell, I'm quite curious, where is it exactly you learned what you teach?
I went to college like everybody else.
And you wouldn't mind if I ask where you picked up your more extracurricular activities. After all, you have a fairly impressive resume, and I think she moves the computer monitor, and what you see is this is ridiculous, but shots of the previous episodes on the monitor. Um,
How very interesting, Miriam. It's amazing what kids can do with video these days, isn't it?
oh, they're so talented, these kids. They're so much potential. Just it's quite unnerving in some parts, but in other parts it's quite illuminating.
And so many people interested in making use of that potential, don't you find, Miriam?
So many people. But me, well, I prefer to nurture that potential to whatever these children want to do with their lives. It's a job like anything else. For something a bit more direct, I'm more interested in people with experience. I think she kind of like she's leaning forward a bit, looking at you.
Is she hitting on me?
No, she's sizing you up as if you're like being sold in the market, as if like she's sizing up as if like. And I think I need someone with experience like yourself, Professor Fell.
Well, if you advertise a job, Miriam, I'd be very interested in applying.
I think
How can you help my career?
I can get you where you need to be in a moment's notice.
And what kind of rewards package does this offer, Miriam?
I think she's smiling now, and see that like her smile is way too wide for a human face. And she says, "Well, frankly, this rewards package is vast and teeming with, well, it's teeming with so much. Well, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how I exactly says it's rewarding. No, she didn't say that because you just said rewards, right? It's teeming. It's quite a lot. Certainly, someone who's proven that they're competent in what they do would benefit."
I stand up and shake her by the hand.
I think she shakes your hand and she says like, "Are you sure you don't need another wafer? You wouldn't want a wafer?"
Maybe I'll take one for later.
I'm sure we have a lot to talk about, but for now, you have places to go, holes in reality to plug up, incompetent con men to put in their place. You'll be very busy, I assume, Professor Fell.
Yes, because I think I've just accepted aid from a dangerous entity beyond my control.
Yeah. Absolutely. So check that. And I think as soon as you shake your hand, and when you just let go, suddenly you are not standing in her office. You are standing in front of the Twilight Motel. And yeah. And if you turn around, you'll see your two buddies are. We'll get to that. I guess they're fighting at the moment, but we've reached another hour. I always like to take breaks on the hour. So take another 5. That's okay with folks, and then we'll cut back and do the 2 ass kickers. Hopefully, kicking. There will be kicking ass because this stupid dice roller. Anyway, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Cool. Welcome back, folks. Just want to do another check-in. How are folks doing?
Oh, good.
Sorry, just to calculate how much time I left. I left this table thinking it was like 9 o'clock, and turns out it's actually 10. So I just had like, I feel like, wait, did I lose an hour? Did I? Oh, what the hell happened? All right, cool. Okay, so
Just out of curiosity, Leandro, you did bill this as 4 hours. I wasn't certain if that was real or not.
yeah, no, this is 4 hours, for sure. So we've got an hour and a bit still left to go, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. We might wrap up sooner than I expected, which if folks are fine with that. If it happens, it happens. We're telling a story and give it what we need. So okay, let's cut to our demon killers. Just to lay out exactly where everyone is. Angie is in the motel room watching this ritual and has felt the eyes of 1,000 things on her. I've upgraded from 100 to 1,000. Actually, I think you feel as if more eyes are opening up and like watching this scene. There we go. That's why it went from 100 to 1,000. Gideon has just appeared in the at the front of the motel, just outside. And our two demon killers, Dante and Stone, back to back on top of Dante's car, facing two a bat demon each. Let's cut. I'll give it to Dante first. This slavering thing is like, I think when you said, you said some quippy one-liner, which I've already forgotten. I'm sorry, and I think it just screeches. It just like screeches and lunges for you. What do you do?
I think as it lunges towards me, I'm going to kind of leap up and like over it, to try and like flip down. And you know that scene in like pirate films where they kind of go down the sail with the knife, like that, but with its wings.
Nice. All right. Which stat would that be? I want to say cool just because it looks cool, but like
I think probably tough again. That feels like the most appropriate for just like fighting stuff. And that's a 7.
Hey.
No, it didn't. It's a 6.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Can we change the dice roller?
Okay. So okay, here's what happens. You flip, you do your flip. It's cool, and as it lunges, it misses, and I think as you kind of like land behind it where it was, and I think you're probably off your car now. I don't think his car is long enough to do what you did. I think as you land, I think okay, here's what happens. Another thing falls from the sky and smashes against you. And it kind of it's a bit of an angle now, and you kind of get smashed forward, and you and this thing, which feels clammy and horrible and plasticky, kind of like roll into a heap, and you can feel like it's like clamoring at you as you kind of like roll forward into the road. You're gonna take just because we're near the end, 2 harm. There we go. You're gonna take 2, an entire 2. Sorry, I shouldn't be this vindictive against this dice roller, but yeah. Back to you, Stone. You just smiled at this thing, and it's doing that hissing sort of thing. Demon killer, demon killer, demon killer. You are an enemy of us.
So I think as Dante like flips around behind me and swings around, and then the third monster comes out of nowhere. I think Stone's head just like snaps to the third thing, and the grin gets even wider if it could do. And I think I'm going to try and use the terrifying move when you reveal that you are a golem. And I don't know. I think like what starts to happen is like across like the lines of his face, that like where the slash was earlier, which still haven't healed up. They're kind of like just like furrows with no blood coming out of them. Like just light starts to shine through, and then like as he opens his eyes, like it's the same. It's like a dull red glow,
Nice.
And it's just there. It's behind his grin as well. Like it's like lighting up the back of his teeth as he comes out. Like and so I will roll plus weird to see what effects that can give me.
Oh yeah. Don't forget to mark experience when you get your keys and when you miss, which we haven't done. I think actually, David, you've got enough to level up because you only need 3 XP to take an advance. What'd you get?
Yes, I have taken the protective move, which allows me to leap in and take harm for other people.
Nice.
Though probably not for Stone.
No, don't do that for Stone. That's what he was built for. So yeah, I got a 8 on my terrifying, which means I get to choose 2. And I think, given who Stone is, what that's going to be is his next attack deals +1 harm, and his next attack deals an additional +1 harm. So that's 2 harm stacked up with terrifying. And then I think he goes. I think what he does is he tries to basically like. Well, I'll roll my kick some ass style roll, and let's see how good that comes out, right? But what he's trying to do is grab the one in front of him, and like basically like tear it in half as much as possible, like just literally rip it into pieces.
Nice. All right, roll tough.
That is a 7.
Ooh. All right. Okay. I think as you with those extra harm, you're gonna tear through this one like wet tissue paper. But here's the thing: when you revealed yourself as a golem, you don't untrack unwanted attention. So here's what happens: you tear through this thing, and I think it's doing that thing where like it's trying to like reform and grow a new body as he's kind of tearing through it, and it's squealing something like, not just demon killer, but golem, flesh weapon. No, that's a bad thing. Golem of flesh, and it's not well. Okay. I think it's squealing. It's squealing something. It's like a repeated word in like their demonic tongue. As if like it's branding you like you're a natural enemy of demon kind. So here's kind of like what happens. Everyone around this motel, including Angie and Gideon and Thomas and Lurch, can't forget Lurch, not Gene because he's sleeping. Everyone feels reality wobble. I don't know how that would feel, but everyone feels it. Reality kind of gets a bit of a wobble. And I think and yeah, exactly, Libby, exactly like that. Yeah, it's just wobble here. There we go. Thanks. Shouldn't have been distracted by that. I think those eyes that were on kind of like almost like patiently waiting. I think you feel it as well, Angie. It's still part of the curious thing. You feel some of them kind of like move away, and suddenly in Stone, you feel as if you are being watched. And I think you hear just like this as kind of like this demon you just tore in half, kind of like is on their dying breath. Do you know that the one bat demon that like Dante jumped over? It's on you. Because you rolled a 7, right? Yes, you rolled a 7.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's on you. And I think you and like everyone else can feel like as if like there's a lot of like weird supernatural tension in this area. And you can feel that it's like things are like trying to press through, and it almost feels like Stone. It feels like things are trying to press through to get at you. And
I think that just makes him smile even wider, and he's just he just starts whispering under his breath, "Yes."
You've described him smile so wide. I gotta wonder how much more wide can it go.
I think it just gets crazier and crazier.
And I think this probably happens as like the other bat demon is on you. It's kind of grabbing onto you. I think we'll cut to Angie in the room. I think Thomas has to feel what's happening. I think he's in the middle of his ritual and he was chanting probably something in Latin, and then he stops And then he looks at you and says, like, "What have you done? What's happening?"
It's probably because of your meddling in things that you shouldn't be involved with.
I think there's a moment where he looks a bit stricken, and then he like just like tries to like regain his dignity, and he says like, "Meddling what I'm not doing? Let me remind you, young miss, that I'm the one here with the implements and with the knowledge to take care of your friend. You are an interfering interloper, and I've been too kind to you. Your presence may have destabilized things for you, your friend, and this town. I'm gonna need you to leave right now." And I think he's gonna like try and like move you towards the door. What do you do?
Um. I think I would say like, no, I won't. I'm not leaving without Jean.
Okay. No, this is gonna be a roll. I have to I have to display decision making. I'm letting the dice decide for me.
Okay, I'm gonna just like knock his hand away and be like and like make for Jean. So maybe I guess I'll roll plus tough, which I don't have any in. So do your worst. I got a 9.
Hey, look, it's still at a cost. You know, it's still there is a cost. Okay, you knock his hand away, and I think that's enough to like the combination of suddenly feeling what's happening, and I think he's not unaware of what's happening. You knock his hand off, and here's kind of what happens. You knock him back, and I think he's enough. Like he knocks against the bed. I think in his expression, he's gonna say like, "Okay, no, he can't make you leave." So that's a success. He's not gonna make you leave. But the cost is like he knocks against the bed, and it just jostles the ritual scene just so that those eyes were just watching this scene. Now they're just like watching Jean, as if like the ritual has been jostled enough. And I think Thomas kind of like, "Oh no, 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 no," and he just turns around and he tries to like reposition like the one knocked over candle, but I think you can kind of see it. Jean starting to like fret in her sleep, as if she's like, "What have you done? You've knocked apart the protective barrier. Now instead of a protection, she's now baked to them."
Oh no. Okay, let me think about what I want to do. I'm going to okay. I guess I'm just say you're an idiot for putting us in this position in the first place. How do we fix this?
I think he looks at you, and you can see, like, yeah, he's not really Christian Bale from American Psycho anymore. He's more. I'm trying to think of a pathetic Christian Bale character, and nothing comes to mind at the moment. Yeah, he looks stricken. You don't understand. She's. We've attracted so much attention. All that attention has to go somewhere. And you can tell he's not gonna take that attention to
yeah.
He's not gonna take the bait.
Okay, I'll take the bait. Okay, how do I can do this. I know about this stuff. Tell me, how do I take it?
I think okay, well, he has no conviction. He's immediately gonna like, all right, hold still, and what he's gonna do, he's gonna like, he takes the candle that was jostled, and he says like, "Okay, this is gonna sting a little bit," and he's gonna let a bit of candle wax drip into your hand, and I think you feel it. So you know why Jean was all anxious and a bit tired and withdrawn. It's because she was feeling what you're now feeling, which is again 100,000 eyes watching you, as in watching all your attention. And I think he just looks at you and he says, "I think you're gonna need to find your friends, and you're gonna need to run as fast as you can."
So I think I want to like I'm gonna like I want to wake Jean before I do that.
Okay.
And drag her out of the hotel.
Yeah, I think at that moment, like when like the candle kind of like comes on, puts on you, and he says that, I think that's when Jean kind of wakes up with like a bit of a gasp, and like looks at you. And to her, it's an ordinary motel. In fact, it actually, she said the first thing, she's just like, "It worked. It really worked. I feel good." And I think she moves up to like go thank Thomas, but I think you're just gonna like
Yeah, and I just kind of like grab both of her arms and say, "Things went real bad. Let's go," and kind of like drag her out.
All right, cool. I'll cut it away from you to Gideon. Also mark that key. The key we were not very subtly pushing,
right?
Turning.
Gideon wants to summon a monster.
Oh, okay. All right. How do you do this? What does it look like when you summon a monster?
It's his grandfather. So again, what he's doing is just he holds up the palm of his hand, and a flame begins to flicker there, and out of the smoke that rises from the flame, his grandfather's face will appear. Yeah.
Cool.
So roll with weird.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is not a good time to roll 5 altogether.
Wow. Okay.
There is a peculiar irony in all of this, but I'll explain it later. Okay, so you tell me what happens.
Okay. I think, oh my gosh. Now I realize that all the misses I'm waiting for. Now I actually have to do something now. Now I actually have to react. Give me a moment while I look at the. I love that the one move on this. The one move I have is react. So, which is nice. Yeah. So you try to summon your grandfather, and you feel
my grandfather is the demon that opened the Hellmouth.
Wow. Oh. Okay, I think you try to summon your grandfather, and you've done this. You kind of probably done this before. You connected to him. You have this heritage, this demonic heritage, and I think okay. Give me a moment to think what happens, because this is a lot. Oh gosh.
Well, I mean, if I can help you out by what I was going to do.
Okay. Yes.
Was to plead with my grandfather to back off, because I think he's behind this. That's why Miriam came to tempt me.
Okay. Here's what happens. Oh, okay. You know what? Your grandfather does show up. That does happen. How does he show up?
I think he appears, not just his head, not the way I normally communicate with him, his face, but I think he materializes. And I think it would be cool if he turned up with the Zimmer frame, that walker that an old person might have. So his power doesn't fit with his appearance.
I think Um, he gives you this look as if he's trying to figure out, and he says, "Gideon, what have you done?"
What have you done, grandfather?
I think he looks around and says, "Do you think this is me?"
It's always you. It's always been you.
I think he kind of like smiles bashfully, kind of like at that, and he says, "I am of my kind, and my kind are of this. Would you blame all the what my kind do on me?"
You have influence, grandfather. Stop this.
I had influence, Gideon. I had, so long as our line stood tall. But you, Gideon, you shook hands with her. You. This is her place now, Gideon. And I think he looks really sad.
I
looks-
think I'll settle for that.
He looks
But
very
I think I have now revealed how a current problem is connected to my life.
Yeah. There we go. So I think we'll cut away from you there. You just had a devastating emotional moment. Back to Dante. You're I feel like I should inflict harm on Gideon, just like one emotional harm, but no, we're not going to do that. Dante, how are you doing?
Yeah, so I think I've just had this. I've just sort of had another of these demons barrel into me as Stone kind of tore it up. So I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to kind of leap at one of the other demons, sort of daggers outstretched, and attempt to sort of bear it down to the ground and pin it to the ground.
Hell yeah. Roll. Yeah. You're being tough, being very cool. You know how to deal with demons. You've dealt with demons before.
And that's a 9.
Hell yeah. All right. So on 7 to 9, you pick one, and on 7+, you deal harm equal to your lower die, which is
I think it's a double 4. Yep.
Jesus. Yeah. Well. Oh, go ahead. Which one are you going to pick?
I think I'm going to pick. I avoid taking harm because I've already taken a couple of points. So.
Okay. All right. So, and you deal 4 harm. Well, these things exactly have 4 harm that can take 4 harm. So I think you are kind of you just scissor through this one again, and I think just keeping count. You stabbed your knives. The only demon left really in play as well. Where there's Gideon's granddad, and you can tell from your own demonic heritage that he's a demon as well. Is that why you were drawn to Gideon? I don't know. Probably like flashback to an earlier episode. Like, oh my gosh, there was that spark between us. The only demon actually there, but there's Gideon's granddad. There's the bat demon on stone. Was probably about to fight, and I think you feel this well. Like it's so porous here. The fabric and reality. It feels like there's things bumping against the wall between your world and the demonic world. It's like something is drawing them to this place. And I don't know if you can tell, unless you probably really concentrate on it. You can't tell where they're being drawn to. I mean, I don't know. You can tell me that you have like your chosen, you have something in your background that lets you do this. I mean, there's only one basic move, and what it does is like there's a chance things could go bad. So honestly, you can tell me like if there's any wacky thing you want to do. It's up to you.
No, I think for the moment I'm okay. I think maybe I'll get more of a sense of it in a moment. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I think okay. Let's cut to Stone. Stone, you're grappling with this bat demon, and I think at this point, this thing is in a proper frenzy. It knows what you are. It knows what you're kind of. That's. It's almost like it knows it's fought your kind before. I guess things
But it
are.
hasn't fought Stone before because it's still here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I think okay. Here's kind of like okay.
Uh,
I'm gonna tell you what I intend to do because I'm gonna give you
Sure.
the choice of like, I think you're feeling it as well. The teeming hordes beneath like the skin of reality trying to get through. I think what's gonna happen is if you let me take control of Stone for a moment, there's a moment where like Stone can feel how porous it is, and in this like moment, what Stone thinks is just more things to fight.
yes, that's exactly what I would go for entirely.
Yeah, more things to fight. So,
And I would actually put that down as when you indulge your hunger at an opportune moment. Because
okay,
the hunger is for fighting, right? Like,
all right. So, okay, yeah. So I'm gonna let you try and do this. Now, if you didn't, so I don't know if you missed this, Alan, but like Stone has just felt the teeming hordes of demon kind on the flitting in the skin of reality, and it sounds like he wants to tear open the skin, let a couple more in to fight them.
yeah, entirely, yeah.
Okay, mark that key and roll. This is feels like this is gonna be weird because like I don't know how you're doing this, but like
That is only a 6, unfortunately.
but
But
we'll take
I
it.
would imagine that 6 would probably mean I bring in more than I can really deal with, right? Because
No,
bringing in less just benefits me. Really, it
no.
benefits everybody.
Here's what happens. Oh, sorry, Libya. So you unmute there. Do you want to?
Oh, I just wanted to say, I just want to have this. Like, this feels like a really good time for like me and Jean to like come out the door and maybe like, hey, on the bright side, my friends are here.
All right, we'll have the conversation
Okay.
between you and Gideon in a moment because here's what's gonna happen to Stone. You're gonna burst out, and Stone. I think you kind of like you poke at that hole that you're gonna feel, and I think it feels like you're gonna try to ram your hand through the skin of reality to get to the demons. Um, Here's what happens. I don't think you're gonna let more of them in. I think they're gonna drag you in.
Yeah, I think that is exactly what happens. I think his hand goes through for a second, then it catches, and he lets out a laugh, and then he suddenly gets jerked inwards, basically, like straight in, and the laugh just like disappears, like suddenly silenced.
Oh, and that's when Angie, you come out with Jean, and you see Gideon. I don't know, on their knees. I don't know, looking shell shocked. Okay. I want to know. I need to know from both Dante and Gideon. What does Angie see when she and Jean comes out of the motel?
She will see Gideon looking slump-shouldered and then stiffening and realizing he is where he is. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I think we see Dante just finished off one of the demons. He's turned like to face the final one, but you can clearly see he's doing that like double take. Hey, wait a second, where's Stone just gone? Look.
I think actually because I have an idea of like how we're gonna fill out the rest of the session. I think the other demon as well kind of like gets sucked in with Stone. Because the other demon was grappling with Stone, and I think in the middle of that's when Stone reached for the thing. Oh yeah, don't forget Stone. You get another XP for failing a roll. For failing rolls. So yeah, I think it's just the four of you, including Jean. And I think there's a moment when like your granddad Gideon kind of like fades away, but he's still looking at you with such sadness.
Such disappointment.
Yeah. And yeah, that's when you burst in, Angie. You see all that happening.
Oh, thank God. Gideon, Dante, and I'm just like feel like there's this like pressure on me over my entire body, like it's a physical feeling of all these eyes, and I kind of like make sure that Jean is out, but I'm just like, oh, thank God, at least you all are here. This could be so much worse. And so, and I say to Jean, you have to leave. You're in incredible danger.
But what about you? What?
I'll be fine. Professor Fell can help. We'll fix everything. Just get to safety, please.
But Angie, but I don't want to leave you. You were there for me. I don't want. I think she really looks like she doesn't want to leave you.
Okay, I'm totally rolling honest here to try to like get her to run away. So I'm gonna roll plus cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a 12.
I think they can see, like, I don't know. You look very determined. Look like you look like you really fit in this world, I guess. You're radiating such confidence and such cool, because Angie, you're the coolest. And I think they kind of nod, and it looks like they want. They look like they have a lot more to say, but I think the thing they say is like, "We'll talk after this, okay?"
Yes.
That's a promise, okay?
It's a promise. And I kind of like nudge her away.
Yeah, okay. She'll walk off. She'll run off. Looking back at you every now and then. But yeah, those eyes are there. Actually, the pressure is lessened a bit because one of the demon's hated enemies has just entered the demon realm. But it's totally still there.
Okay, so I'm like, I try to explain this to Gideon because he seems like the person who would understand what's going on. Just like, it feels like all the demons are staring at me, like there's thousands of eyes, and it's very overwhelming. How do I make it stop?
Gideon looks at Angie and he says, I really don't know.
Dante, do you have any ideas? Where's Stone?
He disappeared with the last of the demons. I don't know where, but I can hazard a guess. It's hell. He's probably been dragged to hell.
Oh. That's not good.
So casual about it.
What do you think we should do, Angie?
Oh, let's talk to this con artist. Who's up in the hotel room. He knows what's going on. He knows what's up with that. No, wait, I don't know anything about Miriam. I just know that like he's been like plotting something with Jean. He definitely doesn't know what he's doing, but he's like fucking everything up.
Okay, let's go and talk to him.
I think the three of you walk into the. I think you turn around and you see Thomas Chance trying to sneak out of there. And he's way towards the sedan, and he's got his suitcase on with him. He looks very disheveled and sweaty, and looks not. It looks like like Christian Bale caught in the act, and he just raises his hand and says, "You can't blame a guy for trying, can't you?"
I need to get these demons out of my head. And you're gonna make it happen. We need all your stuff and
Fine, take my stuff. I don't need it. And he slides his suitcase towards the three of you. I don't need it. Look. It seemed simple, okay? It seemed simple. Besides, you agreed to it. You agreed to it. As far as I'm concerned, it's all on you now.
I mean, I did what I had to get Jean out of there. It doesn't mean I want to like be one person surveillance culture person. I don't know. You what in the world were you trying to do?
I think he's cornered. He's looking around. He doesn't want to, like, he really doesn't want to stick around. But I don't think you need to roll. Well, for one thing, it's not just you there. It's Dante and Gideon there, and Dante has his wicked knives out, I assume.
Yes, he probably still does it. He's probably just like wiping them off and slipping them back up his sleeves. But yes.
Look, there comes some time when being a fake exorcist isn't enough, okay? There comes a time when you make things up and you have to make them come true, okay? Business was dwindling, and sometimes you just need to get as close as you can to making a con come true, okay? All right. This was an experiment. All right. Just have one real life case happen. I can drum up as much experience, as much business as I can. I thought, look, it seemed all right. The instructions seemed all right. Nothing more was just going to happen than some demons get the attention of some student that a lot of people would care about. That once they're gone, then people will be, and business would boom up, you know. And he's babbling. He's.
Tell me about Miriam.
Miriam, she was just my patsy on the inside. She's someone, you know, I met a year or two ago. You know, she was getting out of the business, getting to guidance counseling. I don't know how she did. I don't know how she got the credentials. She probably faked it because that's what she does. But you know, she was just someone I worked with every now and then.
He's as much a fake as much a dupe as I've been.
What? Look, you're right. I'm a dupe. That's what I am. A dupe, a nobody. So you don't need me.
But I will. I with that experience, I did take sighted. You can see and commune with ghosts, other normally invisible creatures. You can also detect wards, illusions, charms, and curses. I want to know if he's clean.
He's clean in the sense that there's nothing on him that you think he performed, but there is absolutely, I think you can sense this. There's absolutely like a ward on him, as if like, not like a ward that'll protect him, but more like just to keep an eye on him. And I think let's cut for a moment to Stone. Stone, where do you land?
I think Stone lands kind of like, I think it's where we were standing, like it's the car park, but it's shrouded in like just shadow and mist, and you can hear like voices whispering off in the distance, and Stone just sort of lands with the demon that like pulled him through, standing there, and then all around, like stepping out of it, are just more and more demons, and he's just like, sort of staggers to his feet, looks up, and just sets about him, basically. I think.
Yeah, I think there's like all these demons, and you think you'll hear like a whisper going around. It's like demon killer, golem, weapon. I think
Yeah.
and you're just gonna like, I don't know, grin as wide as you can. I don't know. What do you do?
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's just there are more things to fight now, and Stone's gonna fight.
Oh my god.
Until maybe something gives him a chance to
All right.
jump back
Yeah,
in.
I think roll. Yeah, this is a risk. You're risking something just by just fighting them. And this is obviously a tough.
So that is a 12.
All right, you're gonna hold your own against them for the moment. I think they swarm you, and you just kind of like have this like, come on and have a go if you think you're hard enough sort of smile, and we'll cut back to the three. And Thomas is very sweaty now. It's so undignified. Yeah, he actually takes off his like suit jacket and starts fanning himself. Can I go now? There's nothing more. There's nothing.
I would like to. I this may be stretching it.
Mhm.
If I attempt to counteract that ward, I roll with advantage, but I'm
Yes.
struggling to see an effect under attuned that would do that. So what I'm thinking is that rather than counteract that ward, could I use see across space and time to actually tap into it?
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Totally.
So roll with weird. That's a 6.
Wow.
All told.
Okay. Here's what happens. You try to like see through space and time, and I think time stops. I think Dante and Angie are aware that time has stopped. I think
It's
the
very clear that grandfather has withdrawn his favor.
Yes, absolutely. I think Dante, because your demonic heritage kind of like just feels it, and Angie, because again that you're bait right now for a lot of demonic influences. So time is kind of stopped. Thomas is completely still. You, Gideon, are free to move, and I think you hear a voice behind you. So about that rewards package.
Hello, Miriam.
You've done quite well, Gideon. You shouldn't feel too bad. Your friends are certainly quite something, aren't they?
And I'd quite like one of them back.
I think she kind of like she. I think she reaches to her jacket. I should describe what she's dressed. She's not dressed like a professional wearing a suit or whatnot. I think when you walked into her, she just had like a sweater, and jeans on. And I think she reaches in her pocket. No, she doesn't reach in her pocket. She just kind of like puts her hand out, and the cigarillo case comes, and she says, "Wafer." Don't worry, it's on the
Wait.
house.
Are you're the guidance counselor?
Oh, I should have clarified. You're frozen, Angie, but you are frozen. Only Gideon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm frozen.
Yeah, sorry. But you can tell like something weird is happening that's just beyond all the other weird stuff. You and Dante can tell.
This is when the angel comes to speak to Lucifer, isn't it? So, what do you want, Miriam? Enough of the kind of mysterious stuff. Just spill.
I think she says like, well, we'll fold those answers into the rewards package, I guess. Don't worry, you'll get your friend back. We'll sort all this out. It's easily within my domain. Well, now it's easily within my domain. You'll get your friend back. Your other friend gets all these monkeys off her back. I'll even throw in, I don't know, a couple of jobs or two towards your demon killing chosen over there. All this for a job well done. Of course, you didn't know what the job was, but it's still a job well done, Gideon. All I want, well, I guess it's right to say that you and your friends are quite a bit of fun, aren't you? It's a simple want, Gideon. A bit of fun, a bit of excitement. It's all really simple, Gideon. And I think she kind of like edges the wafer closer to you.
I take the wafer.
As soon as you take it, time comes back to a halt. I think Dante, you'll feel time come back. Angie, you'll feel those eyes withdraw away from you. Stone, you're in the middle of punching through the mouth of the 10th demon you've done that to, when suddenly you're all back standing in the outside the motel. And Gideon has a wafer with him.
That was weird. So it was frozen. Did I see Miriam?
No, but you know something happened and
Yeah,
something came in.
Yeah, what just happened?
Well, I think Gideon will tell them exactly what's happened. I think I've sold my soul to Miriam, and lost the patronage of my grandfather.
Miriam, the guidance counselor.
Yeah, and I think probably one of the princes of hell.
Good to know.
The hell mouth is hers now. Sorry.
Stone, you're there, dripping in demon fluid. That's I said the word, I regretted saying it. Demon fluids.
Yeah.
Dante, I think you feel like your heritage kind of. I think I add this extra detail as well. When that time stop happened, you felt like your heritage screaming at you, Dante, while that was happening. And Stone, you're all back, all four of you.
Is the work done?
I get the feeling it's only just beginning.
All right. And I think I want a snapshot of these a bit of the future before we wrap up and move on to, I don't know, the plot arc, the myth arc of season 2. This is probably like the season 1 finale or something. Or no, this is the mid-season finale that didn't look like it was hyped up. Maybe it was hyped up. Oh, the secret of the new guidance counselor revealed today is what the trailers were going. But like, yeah, let's say like we wrap up next time on Sunset Kills in the next season trailer. What do we see of like each character?
I think we see Gideon sat in the woods like we have in every title sequence in the first half of this series, and he's conjuring his grandfather, and instead we see the grinning face of Miriam.
I think we see Angie and Jean sitting together in like Jean's dorm room or something, and I'm like explaining all like everything to her and just like spilling the beans, and like she's gonna become a new Scooby, like clearly.
Yeah, and the Jean Angie shippers on the internet, the Jean G shippers, just go wild seeing that scene in the trailer. What about Dante?
Yeah, so I think we see like a shot of like Dante like dropping down, sort of doing the 3-point landing thing. But there's kind of a weird, like, shadowy, tendrily thing all around him, kind of like when Stone was dragged through to the other side. And as he kind of looks back towards the camera, his like eyes are sort of glowing with a sort of odd, like, yellowy, goldeny gleam.
That's fab. And Stone?
I think that like Stone's the last one of this, and it's kind of like it opens up on like it's almost like a cave somewhere, and there's like Stone basically like as a dead body like lying on a slab, and then somebody standing over it holding his hands, and I think as it comes out the shadow, it's like the demon Alan's grandfather, like creating. It's like the flashback to show like the creation of Stone centuries ago.
Oh my
and it
god!
cuts with his eyes like white, like snapping open, and it just cuts to the credits. Then,
yeah, coming soon. God, I want to see that TV show now, but sadly, we're gonna wrap up today. Thanks very much to players. Thanks for dealing with a quite frankly tired, not eaten dinner GM flailing about. Thanks very much. These players are fantastic. I always got to get this on the broadcast that they're great. If folks want to check out Sunset Kills, it's by Jesse Ross. There'll be a link down below. We're going to do debrief now. We're going to do it away from your prying eyes, YouTube. Sorry, I'm in this broadcast. Thanks very much again. Bye-bye.